you need for the perfect souffle? And how is that related to an update on Wellness Works? I hope the metaphor of a souffle and Wellness Works grabs your attention. Now let me explain. First, in order to make a souffle, you need a recipe. At Wellness Works, we don't need a cookbook, but there is a recipe we follow. Our programs are guided by evidence-based studies. We look to science. 12 years ago, we began Wellness Works with Zumba Gold. It was evidence-based. The same was true of tango lessons, offered several years later. We turned our lecture hall into a ballroom. These early classes were our platform for success. Wellness Works programs were among the first Parkinson's-specific exercise classes in Boston. A signature of all of our programs is that they are open to people with Parkinson's and their partners. Students became bonded to each other, to instructors. There was natural camaraderie. Stacy Lee, my friend for many decades, provided philanthropic support that launched Wellness Works. She has sustained financial support since then. As someone who believed in the value of exercise prior to her Parkinson's, Stacy was convinced that exercise programs would be key for those with Parkinson's. However, a surprise was in store for Stacy. She reflects, "When we started Wellness Works 12 years ago, I knew the power of movement for those with Parkinson's. What I have learned since is the power of community." Back to the souffle. Once you have the recipe, the second critical step is to get the freshest ingredients. In Wellness Works, this translates to selecting highly trained instructors with a passion for their work. Our instructors have been trained about Parkinson's. They tailor classes to meet the needs of participants. For example, this may mean a longer warm-up and cool-down periods to begin and end workouts. When the pandemic began in March, we moved quickly from the in-person workouts to Zoom classes. It was clear that not exercising during the pandemic was simply not an option. We moved into action, offering live classes. They are not pre-recorded. Students are greeted when they arrive. Instructors monitor progress, identify concerns if they see them, and answer questions that may arise. Souffle step number 3, follow directions carefully. For us, this means sticking with what works. Safety for each participant is our top priority. If the souffle is a success, bon appetit. However, if it's not quite perfect, you might adapt the recipe and make improvements. In Wellness Works, we tweak our programs, integrating participant and instructor feedback. We've seen tremendous growth over the past 7 months in program participation. We now attract participants from around the state, and no worries about fighting Red Sox traffic to get to our programs. We are all pioneers together in the world of virtual exercise. Here's our list of ongoing classes. Yoga. We have 2 options. Chair yoga for those who need more postural support, and dynamic yoga for those who are comfortable doing standing poses. What motivates Clementine Kummer, our yoga instructor? She says, "What I find most inspiring about my students is their desire and openness to learn and try new things, even when the experience is really challenging. Many of my students with Parkinson's have never practiced yoga before. They show up and work hard." Tai Chi. This class consists of gentle movements and mind-body exercise. Stanwood Cheng expressed his teaching philosophy. Tai Chi has inspired me to explore the larger picture of fluid, functional movement. I seek to inspire others to flow through their daily lives, sitting, standing, walking, getting down and up from the floor with ease, imagination, and creativity. This is all done incorporating the Tai Chi principles of mindfulness, awareness of breath, the cultivation of internal energy. Boot camp incorporates 4 components of fitness: cardio, strength, flexibility, and balance. As the name implies, boot camp is a rigorous workout. Rocksteady boxing. This high-intensity class offers non-contact, boxing-inspired workouts. Exercises focus on agility, balance, footwork, and overall strength. This summer, an article with data from our own Rocksteady boxing classes was selected for publication in a scientific rehabilitation journal. Results from the study, called Boxing Exercises as Therapy for Parkinson's Disease, indicated both subjective and objective improvements from Rocksteady boxing participation, a very exciting finding. Ala Tulip, our instructor, observes, "My fighters show up to class and give me 110% with absolutely no excuses, just pure determination. That's my motivation." And this excerpted statement from a class participant says it all. "I joined the program a few months after being diagnosed, and the experience has been transformative. Classes boost my mobility, energy, and outlook. But more significantly, the opportunity to participate in these classes has elevated my spirits and filled me with hope. I'm reminded that I'm not waging this battle by myself. I'm surrounded by other fighters. Each of us gives it our all with passion and determination that refuses to back down. With every class, I celebrate what I can do to get better and never give up." Moving Through Parkinson's, a seated workout, is our newest class offering. This class was created by our instructor, Anita Luck, who felt that we had a gap in our programs. Here's what she has to say. "Throughout life, we must adapt, and so should our exercise. Life is about adapting. If you can't stand for a long time and exercise, stand for a short time and exercise. If you can't stand at all, stay seated and exercise. Let's facilitate what you can do, not dwell on what you can't do." In addition to exercise programs, we offer 2 ongoing educational support groups. Calling All Artists. In the Calling All Artists meetings, artists with Parkinson's share strategies on how they can continue their art living with the challenges of Parkinson's. Our artists would agree that their continuing artistic endeavors, whether it's poetry, writing, photography, composing, and singing, or being an art appreciator, these are all truly beyond the pillbox medicine. For the past year, we have enjoyed an affiliation with the Museum of Fine Arts. Small groups of individuals with Parkinson's participate in virtual group tours with MFA curators. October's theme was Forward Motion. We explored motion and movements in art, inviting participants to think about forward motion within their own lives. This tour was an antidote to feeling stuck during quarantine. Forward motion is an idea well matched for physical and emotional well-being while living with Parkinson's. For and About Women is another ongoing group. These group meetings bring together women throughout the year to talk about topics of interest. I will never forget the comment from a newcomer who expressed her relief after the first meeting, stating that prior to the meeting, she had never met a woman with Parkinson's. We've had many outstanding programs. This fall, Dr. Simon was a discussant on the topic, Early Conversations You Wish You'd Had with Your Neurologist. As you can imagine, this topic generated a robust dialogue between Dr. Simon and participants. We all learned from each other. And what do our participants have to say? We have many testimonials. Here are just a few. The wife of one participant who died earlier this year summarized her feelings. "Wellness Works programs saved my sanity. and extended my husband's life. Wellness Works does not cure Parkinson's. It helps both the patient and the spouse to live with Parkinson's, share a better quality of life. This next comment speaks to the value of community. The Women's Parkinson's Support Group is a life raft. The groups have been able to navigate the COVID crisis. I receive excellence, expertise, kindness, and down-to-earth real help from everyone associated with BIDMC. It is not a stretch to say that I have received what I would call love medicine. Love medicine, what an interesting concept. How does that come packaged? Are we offering that through Wellness Works? Each individual creates their own recipe for wellness. We have touched thousands of lives over 12 years. I believe Wellness Works really does work. To end, I return one last time to the souffle metaphor. Here's what I left out. Even if you follow all of the steps of finding the recipe, getting the fresh ingredients, following directions carefully, the perfect souffle depends on one last ingredient, a little bit of luck. And that's the last part of the story. Our program has been lucky, and we have a dedicated team of hardworking individuals. We are blessed to offer a Parkinson's Center of Excellence that sets the bar very high. Dr. Simon, at the helm of our center, provides true leadership. He is committed to all aspects of Parkinson's wellness. We are lucky to have a community of patients and family members like all of you. The testimonials I shared provide our best public relations. Now it is with real pleasure and gratitude that I introduce Karen Sauer, who is part of the Calling All Artists group and has contributed in so many ways to our community. When Parkinson's derailed her classical music career, Karen took a free online songwriting course and became a singer-songwriter. She writes mostly love songs and topical rants. There is no shortage of material. So don't be shy in the audience. Clap your hands, tap your feet, sing along with Karen, and most importantly, hear her message. Showing up is the takeaway. Join our Wellness Works community for the fun of it, for the health of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Lissa and Dr. Simon, for inviting me to be a part of this event. My song is called You Gotta Show Up. I acknowledge the irony of writing a song with that title at a time when there's hardly any place you can show up. What I mean by showing up is staying engaged, and here we are. Thanks to Mike Delaney for the accompaniment track and to Marilyn Nault for a few key words. And you, thanks for showing up. You got some news, wasn't good news. You're gonna pay some dues, but we're right behind you, ready to remind you, your diagnosis don't define you. Yeah, you're hurting, but this much is certain. You gotta show up. You gotta show up, you gotta show up. You gotta show up. You gotta show up, you gotta show up. You gotta show up. Your diagnosis don't define you. You gotta show up. Showing up is half the battle when the fabric of your life starts to unravel. No surrender, stitch it back together. You'll be stronger than ever. Got a case of the blues, lace up your shoes, 'cause you gotta show up. 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 Got a case of the blues, lace up your shoes, 'cause you gotta show up. Let's be big and let's be loud. We're living in the here and now. If the day is fine, we'll bask in the sun. If the stars are shining, we'll wish on one. And when the moon is full, you'll know what to do. That's right. Ow, ow, ow!
I still get a thrill out of the fact that someone can dig into their pocket and spend money on something I've created.
The word adaptation was very important for me.
A lot of what I do is representative of what I see out in nature, and when I make a piece that I think is successful, I think of it as just a piece of gratitude for what I've seen.
You wanna know less, you wanna know more, you wanna go back to how it was before. Don't let those what am I gonna lose blues take your today, 'cause you're scared of tomorrow. You're getting rewired, adaptation required, and don't forget to show up. You gotta show up. You gotta show up. You gotta show up. You gotta show up. You gotta. Don't let those what am I gonna lose blues take your today. Your song ain't over, but it's being transposed, and you're searching for a suitable key. There's uncertainty, but whoever really knows how their life is gonna be. As you're singing your song, we'll be singing along, 'cause you're part of our community. As you face the unknown, you won't be alone. Welcome to our community.